I wanted to do a different trip looking at oppression and incarceration, and both of the places we were able to come here in Michigan were within a couple of hours of each other, where the students would be able to experience both of those aspects.
So this was offered to 2 different classes, I think. Yeah, both taught by Christina.
Over the past few years, I've been very fortunate anytime that I have sought funds from the last innovation grant. I've been very lucky to be the recipient of those funds. Quite frankly, this semester I asked for a lot of money to do a lot of important things for students, and it really is beneficial for the students to get to learn things outside of the classroom and to have experiences like this. So first we went to the Jim Crow Museum, which is in the basement of the library at Ferris University. And this museum houses over 2,000 artifacts looking at the Jim Crow era, some original things from the time of slavery, and then the post-Jim Crow era as well.
At the Jim Crow Museum, how racial biases were happening back then and currently, and it shows it shows the way that other people would perceive people.
The museum, it was really sickening. I did not like it. Just to see all the artifacts, it was horrible. Like if we just saw pictures, no.
I just thought all of it was very disheartening and infuriating.
I really think going there and seeing everything with my own eyes and just being able to stop at the things that more drew my attention instead of it being class-led, and I could really focus on things that more stood out to me and were more concerns for me.
I think it's important because having the hands-on experience can be a lot, in my opinion, better than like in the classroom.
So the history. So I watch one day the documentary talk about Martin Luther King and like a segregation. So I didn't know exactly the period, the year. So it was just quickly and. I had a chance today to read some period like Jimmy Crow period, like a segregation and a lot of stuff, and I was very surprised also in that period of Jimmy Crow. There is some group of people. They were like a Catholic people, and they had done a lot of stuff bad, and so. I was a surprise. I didn't know that this group. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was really eye-opening for the students to be able to actually see some of this quote-unquote memorabilia from American history that we all know existed, but we were able to actually lay our eyes on it, which was a very powerful experience for the students. And then the next day we headed to Jackson, Michigan, where we were able to tour the Michigan State Prison, which was the first prison in the state of Michigan.
And that was going to be the temporary prison. And that they had 80-some prisoners the first year. Second year they got about 80 more.
I think, personally, I think history is fascinating. I think you got to know where you come from in order to at least give some idea of where you're going. I think it's important to know how we got to where we're at. It was probably around 1839 that they started building this. They built the wall around the prison at the same time. Part of the reason we got the prison because we had building materials close by. 8 miles away there was a sandstone quarry, there's a limestone quarry just south of that, and we fought to get it with about 7 other cities. I mean, Detroit being one of them that wanted it. And that was probably the only city in the group, but the rest of them were just villages back in the day. So it was something that would help make Jackson progress.
I think the best way to demonstrate adversity is through hands-on experience, and I feel like seeing it with physical objects in like a physical place really puts a definition to it rather than just a concept. And the prison is just the sheer, even in the 1800s, this place is massive. I haven't seen a building this big in a long time, and this was built in the 1800s, so it's more of a, really just shows the need for a prison back then.
He showed the picture that there was
He said there was 328 cells in this one room. Big, but to imagine 328 cells in here is just kind of crazy to me.
I thought solitary downstairs was very interesting, and just how there was no lights on, you only got bread and water, like you didn't leave. I also thought it was interesting that they never had any sort of like plumbing, like bathroom was always just a bucket, and they only emptied them once a day. That was pretty interesting to me.
Making people aware of things that happened and like having people like actually like experience kind of like the artifacts and like read some of the stories and stuff. I think a lot of people are really shocked by that and really like kind of, it's almost like sickened, I guess. Especially like, you know, people like us who are like going into like social sciences and whatnot. You know, a big theme on the bus back was like people talking about how the artifacts actually made them like nauseous and stuff. And I don't think that's something that you can get just by like listening to somebody like drone on and on about like, oh, this happened and everything was really bad, by the way. It's like, yeah, okay, we know it's really bad, but how bad is it? And so, you know, going and seeing that and like feeling it and like getting the experience of it and whatnot, I do think that that helps prevent anything like that happening because it's like personal, you know?